Hello, my name is Chance. If you've been here before, you already know my name is Chance. If you're new here, my name is Chance. I hope you're having a great afternoon so far, or at least that's what it is for me. But I'm gonna get straight to the point of it. The skinny of today is to keep your whys to yourself and your exes far, far away from you. And what I mean by keeping your whys to yourself, sometimes we have reasons why we do things. And I'm not talking about why we chose this for dinner, why we were late to work, why we did this. Those are the simple, menial whys of life. That's just cause and effect type stuff, whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about spiritually rooted, hard thought, preyed on decisions that we encounter that serve as like little pivot points in our life. Last video, if you were here, I talked about our decisions being a free-form map that constantly draws. I'm talking about the decisions that change the trajectory of our life on this blank canvas. That's what I'm talking about. Why you decided to marry that person, why you quit that job, why you ended the relationship, why you took the call to do something greater, why you did anything, the things that are a manifestation of our spirit and our driven purpose. That's what I'm talking about. And I'll give an example. This is not me tattling on my life. These are like generalizable events. Why you decided to quit a job. The whys we would give someone else is, I found better pay. I'm just kind of like, wasn't vibing with it anymore. But the real reason could be, I changed as a person as a result of it, or it was soul crushing. Now that I've demonstrated the whys that I'm talking about, we're going to get into the reasons why you should not share them. Because I'm telling you, if you go around telling people your reasons why that are personal to you, it's going to ruin your life. This main point has a few bullet points, but just bear with me. Not every friend is a real friend. Fake friends exist, and it's hard to tell which ones are which. Sometimes. Not everyone who smiles at you is your friend. Let's break it down. Some people are actually jealous of the life that you have. For this point, every time that I use friend, just assume air quotes because I'm talking about snakes. By the way, did you know that snakes are like my greatest fear ever? Let's say you tell your friend, hey, I want to start making music, or I want to do something creatively. And they're like, you know what, maybe you shouldn't really do that. How are you going to have time for all this, that, and the other, X, Y, and Z? How are you going to have time for your job? How are you going to balance your school? It may seem like good practical advice, but what they are doing is they are trying to stomp out your creativity. The one thing that we have as humans that makes us human. Creativity, I believe, is evidence of the soul. We're one of the only species, I think, that actually are creative. And sure, you can argue that primates are our living closest relative, but they function purely based off of logic, and I don't think they've ever created any art before. Correct me if I'm wrong, put it in the comments, but argue with your mama for now. Not only will they try to stomp out your creativity, they will also try to secure your uncertainty. They'll make you second guess, hey, maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I shouldn't take this calling. A real friend would never do that. Why have friends if they're just going to make you feel uncertain or insecure about parts of your life, or make you feel like there's no plan? If you show your hand during a poker game, you can see your hand being used against you because people know what you have. Cultivate a tight-knit, small circle of friends and hold them close and love them. Those are the real ones you can count on at the end of the day. Moving on, this is kind of a quick video so far. I kind of like this. If you were here last time, you would see that I kind of had shoddy lighting, just a shoddy setup. I tried playing with cinematics. If you can't tell, let me know if it's working. The second big reason why you shouldn't go around telling your whys or just go around spilling your secrets is actually more to do with you than it is with other people. So, manifestation. And I'm not talking about crystals and tarot cards and all that other stuff. I do not accept those into my life. I will not open those spirits inside of my house. That's not what I'm talking about. If you remember the last video, I'm simply talking about how the unconscious power that our words have over in our lives. So word choices, just speaking things out into existence, that type of manifestation. Let's say I have a goal of pursuing a career in songwriting. When you tell people that, it's like, oh, cool, I have a friend who's musically inclined. They take it at face value and assume you're already practicing your word. When you couldn't, they will give you positive feedback based on that because they now think you're cool. And that's the real reason we tell these people these things, right? Is so we can look cool. They give us positive feedback. There is a sense of accomplishment because of the feedback. Otherwise, why would we be getting feedback if we haven't accomplished something? So this goes out to all the procrastinators out there who are like just waiting on your dreams to hop up on you. You actually have to take it by the reins. So I hope this helps. So yes, you cannot accomplish anything with simply by word of mouth. You actually have to get up and do something, and telling people about it will only make you not do something for longer because of the perceived accomplishment that you get from the positive feedback of telling people about these things that you have not started yet. Yes. If you know, you know. The third and last reason, and we're going to wrap it up with this. The third and last reason why you should keep your whys to yourself. Your body is a house. You know, people are so used to hearing your body is a temple, which is more of a religious platitude. Your body is a house, a home, in fact. Imagine you have guests over at your house right now. Think of rooms that you let your guests in. The living room, of course, you know, any common rooms, the bathroom, places where it is not unordinary for you to have to clean afterwards or clean on a routine basis. Places that we don't let guests in is our bedroom. Your body is a house, and inside that house is your soul, which is the bedroom of the house. When you let people into the master bedroom, you know, whether you believe it or not, the higher chance you have of people maybe like taking something out of it. But not your close friends. That's why you only let your trusted friends into the reasons why you do stuff, or keep some reasons to yourself. I'm talking about, you know, people who have malintent. You know, when you are vulnerable to them, you are giving a little chip of your soul, and should they mishandle it, it will do you wrong. Just be mindful that your reasons why are a very private place, much like the master bedroom of a house. Keep things to yourself. And again, I'll tell you what brought this on is, you know, I feel like Gen Z, and I feel like a lot of basically millennial under, so millennial, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, whatever. I feel like we have a culture of oversharing, and when someone doesn't readily give up a reason why they did something, or the true reason, because we always have to know everything at all the time, you know, we like feel entitled to their true motives, or we feel entitled to like pieces of their soul that they're not ready to give up, or we feel entitled to things that should be kept private. And a big reason is social media. You know, if someone on social media says, I prefer to keep that private, and all of a sudden you're throwing like a hissy behind the screen because, oh my god, I can't know this intimate detail about this random stranger I know on the internet. So what? We have this oversharing culture which reeks of entitlement and even spills into vulgarity oftentimes. I feel like we should know a whole lot less about each other sometimes. On TikTok, people will just record anything and post it. It doesn't matter how it looks. It doesn't matter how your future employer may see it. It doesn't matter how anybody else may see it. People get this bubble mind where social media is like its own realm and does not leak into reality one bit. But let's be real, it does. It does. Not just your whys, but also just intimate details while we're at it. You know, just keep things to yourself. Not everything needs to be broadcasted and shared. If you know, you know. If you're still asleep, stay on this channel and hopefully it'll wake you up. I guess that was just kind of a little rant, a little mini lesson, a masterclass in protecting your peace, if you will. That's all I really have to offer today. As always, it has been a great joy to have you here with me today. And always remember, we are in a constant state of practice, so failure is never absolute.